The gentlelady from Florida, Ms. Wasserman Schultz, is recognized for remarks on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First, I want to congratulate first-time Cardinal Lois Frankel on her first bill as ranking member for the State Foreign Operations Appropriations Subcommittee. And Mr. Chairman, I unfortunately rise in strong opposition to this funding bill. I mean, at least in name, Republicans have come around to the fact that our engagement in global affairs, our foreign assistance, and our diplomats are national security. They make us stronger because they deepen and broaden our relationships around the world. They make us safer by preventing the spread of deadly diseases, countering terrorism, and promoting democracy. And they make us more prosperous by creating markets for our goods and building partnerships for commerce and innovation. Foreign assistance is national security, and I hope all of us can now agree on that. But it's unfortunate that this revelation only came after Trump and Musk ripped USAID limb from limb, betrayed tens of thousands who served our country, and shattered trust in our promises around the world. Every year in this markup, I and others emphasize this crucial point. If we give up our seat at the table, we will be on the menu. And based on the trajectory of this administration, that menu will be written in Mandarin. Since this administration makes it increasingly clear that, quote, promoting democracy is not a national security interest of the United States, unquote, my Cuban and Venezuelan constituents cry out, traición, betrayal. And they're right. The Republican foreign aid freeze left Venezuelan and Cuban freedom fighters helpless against regime repression. Republicans weren't satisfied overturning Roe v. Wade. They want to impose a global abortion ban that will result in even more women dying in childbirth. They weren't satisfied cutting Medicaid for working Americans. They want to take away health assistance for people making less than $2 a day. And they weren't satisfied cutting school lunches for American kids. They want to take away emergency rations from kids in war zones with acute malnutrition. And while children starve and suffer as American crops destined to feed them expired in warehouses, the world's warlords and autocrats feasted on the spoils of corruption. And the president has certainly gotten his fill. After all, the primary focus of his foreign policy seems to be soliciting investors for his cryptocurrency and leveling tariffs based on whether countries offer him a golf course. And this bill fails to reverse the Trump administration's isolationist self-sabotage. It does nothing to repair the damage wrought by dismantling USAID and purging policy experts in quantum computing, artificial intelligence, and other emerging technologies from the State Department. It does nothing to inhibit Trump's illegal rendition of law-abiding immigrants to war-torn, failed states. It does nothing to rein in Trump's tariffs, which are driving up prices for American families. And it does nothing to restrain Trump's corrupt deal-making with dictators like Bukele, Putin, and Maduro. In fact, this bill shovels over $1.7 billion for a new MAGA slush fund. Where does that money even come from? Revoking security assistance to our allies, rescinding anti-poverty funds, slashing humanitarian aid to war zones, and oh yeah, defunding the police. And where will that money go? To firing all the civil servants who are responsible for oversight of foreign spending, and then ship over $1.7 billion in unmarked bills, courtesy of the American people, no questions asked. To replacing career diplomats and experts with teenage Muscovites and white supremacist demagogues. To celebrating eliminating tiny cherry-picked grants while passing $3 trillion in tax cuts, mostly for the rich, and doing it in the dead of the night. To surrendering our power as appropriators and Republican appropriators, placing trust in Trump to manage money and follow the law. That's how the majority wants to end waste, fraud, and abuse. Sounds a little ridiculous when you say it out loud, doesn't it? While President Trump abdicates our interests abroad, this committee abdicates its own responsibility to hold the administration accountable to the law. So I have a few questions for those of you who don't want to wake up one day as nothing more than a blue ribbon advisory commission. Does it bother you that resources you designated for fighting fentanyl and strengthening the rule of law are being redirected to benefit Trump's family businesses? Is it fiscally responsible to scrap programs like the Inter-American Foundation, which reduces migration at a fraction of the cost of deportations, and pump billions into ICE jails instead? Is it really limited government to give Trump more latitude over foreign affairs spending after he unilaterally impounds and terminates life-saving funds that this committee directed? Is it truly pro-life to sign death warrants for tens of millions, most of whom are children, by ignoring Trump's sabotage of global health and food assistance programs that this committee has long championed? This administration's foreign policy is not value-based or interest-based. It is vengeance-based, driven by political theatrics, cruelty, and disregard for America's former credibility. There is no grand strategy. There is no Trump doctrine. There are just those who are willing to swallow their pride, set aside their values, and shrug at longstanding U.S. interests and just go along with his rants and raves. And there are those who fight back, who refuse to surrender, who show their determination to keep the United States strong, safe, and free. I know which one I'd rather be. That's why, despite my great affection and respect for the chairman and my appreciation for his efforts to mitigate this bill, I cannot in good conscience support it. I look forward to offering my amendments to address the Trump administration's failure to keep us safe, and I yield back.